related services. Okay, as part of that, today we'll see some of the tools of AWS. So very importantly, EC2. So as I told in the previous class, EC2 is nothing but Elastic Compute Cloud. Okay, that provides a virtual machine facility, so which is also called as a container facility, upon which you can host some guest operating system and you can launch the applications. So that's what today we are going to see. Okay, now I'll share the screen, the entire screen. Okay, now can you see the screen? So first of all, to learn AWS, we should have a AWS account. So you should register. So console.aws.amazon.com, that is the URL. Okay. So first you go to that URL and you have to create your account. So the prerequisites for creating the account is, so you should have either debit card or a credit card. Okay, I hope at least you all have a debit card. Okay, so debit card or credit card is compulsorily required to create a account. Now I have created the account. So now you assume you have created the account in AWS. Then the procedure is to create the AWS account. You should have two things. One is the email ID and another any email ID, and another requisite is credit card. Okay, now I have already, since I have already created the account, I will just log in into the AWS portal. Okay, we should log in. And very importantly, one thing we need to do here immediately after logging in, we need to select a suitable time zone and the area. See here, it is coming by default Mumbai. That is okay for me. So in Asia Pacific, we have Mumbai. So that's why I have selected Mumbai. So why? Because see different countries, in different countries, Amazon follows different pricing models. And what I heard is, so it is very much minimal in US East, that is in North Virginia. If you select US North Virginia, so the charges, the cloud charges are very minimal. Or else, if you want, since you are very much comfortable with the rupee based transactions, you can select Asia Pacific. Okay, you select Asia Pacific, or you can select Virginia. Anything is fine. Okay, after that, you see here what you can see. This is the homepage of Amazon AWS, and we call it as AWS Management Console. So in any of the AWS Management Console, you have two things here mainly. One is the services, and another one is the resource groups. So under services, you can see you have compute related services, blockchain related services, and data analytics related services, end user computing, Internet of Things, security, identity and compliance, management and governance, storage, and still scroll down. You have few more database, media services, migration and transfer, containers, game and development, mobile. See, there are so many services, isn't it? See, business applications, robotics. That means you can see the range of services provided by AWS. And whatever the services that you are seeing here, they are all cloud-based services. Okay. So while studying the architecture of AWS in your textbook, they had given one diagram. In that we saw there are four types of services. In that, as per that textbook, that is compute-based services, communication-based services, then storage services, and the additional services. Okay. So you can see the storage services here and resource groups you can see here. See, whenever you create or you like whenever you launch some applications, you can be part of some group. That group can be selected here. We call it as the resource groups. If you do not select any group by default, it will make you part of some resource group. Okay, that is very important for the cloud to track and manage the consumption and other information. Okay, now, so in this demo, what we are going to explore is very primarily. So first of all, why we go for cloud? So we'll be having some application. We need to hire some infrastructure on lease basis. Okay, and we can go with suitable pricing model. So then we can start working with cloud. Okay, so now you can see here. If you know the name of the service, you can say you can search here using find services. Okay, or you can see here recently visited services. Say recently I visited EC2 billing AWS Cost Explorer. See, AWS Cost Explorer is one service where you'll get information about different pricing models. See, look at here, AWS Cost Explorer. Let us see what it will show. So basically, for new users, it will not show anything. So first, it will expect you to use it for a few days. Then it will customize one pricing model exclusively for you. You see here. So so far I have used only free services very cautiously so that nothing is being charged for me so far. So that's what you can see with this dashboard. You can see here, and also you can fix the budget. Say for example, for this month I may fix the budget of say 1000 rupees. Okay, and it will create an alert. So when the time is nearing, when the consumption is nearing 1000 rupees, it will raise an alert so that I can become cautious and I can adjust my budget. And if you have any saved reports, okay, then there are so many things. Let us see what is there in recommendations. Okay, there are certain recommendations for me. Actually, first time when I opened this, nothing was there. Why? Because it was expecting me to use it for a few days, then it will customize. Now this is what they have customized for me. So savings plan type, so compute type and EC2 instance. That means compute type means depending upon how many resources I have taken, so that it will charge. Okay, then while allocating the resources also it will show. So what is the cost? Then otherwise you can select based upon number of EC2 instances. That is based upon number of virtual machines you want, that you can select. So, and the saving plans terms, okay, 1 year plan is there, 3 year plan is there, and payment option. So all upfront. So upfront means, see here, I have linked to the credit card. So that means without my permission, it will at the end of the month, it will directly take money from the credit card. So that is called all upfront. Okay, and partial upfront. Okay, that is you can reserve a little bit amount. Okay, say for example, if you are let us assume you are going with 1 year plan, and you are fixing the budget of 50,000 rupees for 1 year, and you can make the partial payment in the beginning, that is 25,000, like that. Okay, and other plans based on the past usage, so 7 days, 30 days, and 60 days. And I told you, so Amazon, compared to Amazon, Windows Azure is having better pricing models. Okay, so now without wasting or much of the time, so today's topic is Amazon EC2, that is Elastic Compute Cloud. So go to compute, go to services, compute, then select EC2. Okay, EC2 is Elastic Compute Cloud. It provides instance services, that is container services. Container is nothing but virtual machine. Okay, so you can see here resources it is showing. In case if you have taken already some instances, if they are running, it will show the statistics here. This is a dashboard where you can see. Okay, there are 4 security groups there, and there is one key pairs. So key pairs, that is nothing but the password authentication related have one created one key pair. So and that I have saved in my system. So whenever I want to do remote login to any VM, so I'll use that password. So that is helpful for that purpose. Key pairs. Okay. Now our first intention is to how to hire the instances, EC2 instances. So for that, you need to click launch instance, select launch instance. Now it is launching the instances. Okay, now we should be very cautious. So you can see here, free tier eligible. So now I am going to consider only where I can see this option free tier eligible. Okay, you can observe here that free tier eligible option is not enabled for all the instances. Say for example, you look at here Amazon RDS, for which that free trial that is not eligible for free trial. So you can see Windows Server 2019 base. Yes, it is eligible for free trial. See if you select, say for example, look at here Microsoft Windows Server 2019 with SQL Server 2000 standard. If I select that, it is not eligible for free tier. That means directly, if I launch that instance directly, it will consume money from my credit card, and in the month end, I'll get the bill. So anyhow, to be cautious, now I'll go with Microsoft Windows Server 2019 base. So that is, I'll go with the server edition of the Microsoft operating system 2019 edition. So why I'm going with the server edition means already you have worked with the desktop versions. You know what are the features available in the desktop version of the operating system. So that's why, okay, to explore something new, I'll go with the Microsoft Windows Server 2019 base. Okay, so now our process has started. Now we are done with the first step. First step is choosing the instance. So while choosing the instance, we have very clearly chosen which is eligible for the free tier. Okay, under that we have a general purpose. You can see here once again, by default it is highlighted free tier eligible. That is T2.micro. Type is T2.micro. If you select any other one, you can see here it is not eligible for free tier. Since it is free tier, number of virtual CPUs that they are allocating is only one. Okay, if you make it more, so you may have to pay money from your credit card. So I don't want to pay anything from my credit card. So I'll go with the default. You can see we have vCPUs means virtual CPUs. We have one CPU. They are providing freely for us. So and they are providing memory, 1 GB 1 GB of memory they are providing, and elastic block storage. See, this is somewhat similar to storing in a hard disk. Okay, just like how you store in the hard disk. Similarly, Amazon Cloud is providing a service, storage service, which is called as EBS, that is elastic block storage. Okay, so that they are providing. Okay, network performance low to moderate, and it supports for IPv6 as well. Okay, now click on next. So next is, you can see here, next step is to configure the instance. Click on next. Now we need to configure the instance. Okay, so by default we need only one. Okay, actually here I can take 1 or 2, 3, it doesn't matter. Okay, and here in case if you request spot instances, if you enable this, see you can observe here availability zone and the money that they will charge. So they will charge money. Okay, okay, say for example, now you have chosen only one instance. So after some time you feel like you want one more instance. So there is a provision, so dynamically you can add it. So for that, here you should enable this option. Okay, so they will charge. So I'm happy with one instance. I will not do any changes. Okay, and don't do any changes here. You can see here, so VPC network, they are creating one by default. They are creating one VPC. VPC is nothing but virtual private cloud. Okay, to provide privacy for your application and for your data, they create VPC. Okay, if you want to customize, if you want to create one new VPC, once again that will be charged. Okay, by selecting this, you can create your own VPC. Okay, I don't do any modifications here. And So placement group, say for example, in case of companies, what happens, they'll be creating one particular group and they'll be linking all the instances to one particular group. Say for example, you may have one developer group, you may have one tester group, and so on. Okay, if you have any such thing, you can select the group here and you can link it to it. Okay, placement group, I don't have anything, so I'll retain all the default settings. Once again, next. So now we are in step 3. The step 4 is add storage. So next step is add storage. By default, it will provide 30 GB of storage. Okay. So Amazon S3, by using Amazon S3, it will provide 30 GB. So if you want more than 30 GB, you need to pay money for it. So up to 30 GB, it is free. Okay, I'll go with up 30 GB. Okay, then don't do any modifications here. And yeah, the data is not encrypted by default. Okay, so you can say if you want to encrypt, you can select this KMS key aliases. Okay, now I'll retain what is already available, the default setting. So and look at this warning message here. Free tier eligible customers can get up to 30 GB of elastic block storage, general purpose or magnetic storage. Okay, beyond that, it will be charged. Next is adding the tags. So adding the tags is nothing but giving some name to your application. Say for example, the purpose of having this instance is I want to host my application. To host the application, I need one web server. So I'll give name of my container is web server. Okay. And the value is IIS. That is, I'll create one IIS web server. Okay. I'll use this container or this virtual machine to host one web server by name IIS. Okay. Now next step is configure security group. Okay, it is creating new security group. So here type RDP. So RDP is nothing but is a protocol for remote desktop. Okay, so since you are hiring the resources from the cloud, so when you log in into some virtual machine, so that will be actually present, that will be hosted in the data center. That means you are doing remote login. So we are selecting RDP, that is remote desktop. That's a type, and the protocol is TCP, and you retain all the default ports. Okay, and actually this one you can custom. Okay, actually they have given custom here. So I'll select anywhere. If I select anywhere, so using the URL, I can connect to my remote machine from anywhere just by using the browser. Okay, so look at the warning message here. Rules with source. This IP address 0.0.0.0/0 will allow all IP addresses to access your instance. We recommend setting security group rules to allow access from known IP addresses only. Okay. See, if you have this IP address, it will allow access to all the IP addresses. That means it is not that secure. So better you customize. Okay, now anyhow we are not a company, so we don't have any big requirement. Okay, so I'll select anywhere. Okay, and let it be this 0.0.0.0. Let it be there. So I'll review and launch. This is the last step. Review and launch. Okay, now select launch. So review. So instance type t2.micro, that is the name, some name that they have given. So variable virtual CPUs 1, memory 1 GB. So instance storage, type of storage is elastic block storage. Okay, EBS optimized available. No, it is not available because we are not going with any pricing model. So we are going with free tier. So we cannot optimize. Performance is low to moderate performance. Okay, and security groups, everything you can see here. Okay, you can check all these things, and at the end you can press launch. So that now it will launch the virtual machine. Okay. So now this is a security related step. So select an existing key pair to create a new key pair. That means why this is required is when you do remote login to your virtual machine, so there should be some security. So for that, you need to select some existing key pair, or say for example, now I have already created one key pair. So I'll select choose an existing key pair. So what you have to do is you have to select one, create a new key pair. So it will generate one .pem file. Okay, that you have to store in your file. Sorry, that you have to store in your local computer. Okay, now in case if I select create a new key pair, then it will generate one .pem file. You can give some name to that and you can store in your local machine. Now since I have already created, now for me what happens if I create one more new key pair, so I'll get confusion while using for the next time. So for that reason I'll select choose an existing key pair. And if you feel you don't want any authentication, okay, you can select proceed without a key pair. Okay, now I'll select choose an existing key pair. Okay, now name of that existing key pair is, okay, it's a .pem file. Actually I have stored it in my local machine, that I'll show you. So name of that file I have given is Winky AWS key. Okay, that is useful for remote login into the virtual machine. Okay, now select I acknowledge, then launch the instances. Now actually we are launching the instances. So that means before launching the instance, there is a security step where we need to select the key pair. So when you are using it for the first time, you have to select create new key pair, so that it will generate one. It will download one .pem file. Okay, that you store wherever you want safely in your local machine. Now your instances are now launching, and this is the name of the instance. The following instance launches have been initiated. Now if I click this is the name of the instance. Okay, so actually I can give some name for that instance here. So I'll give instance 1. Select here, tick mark. Yes, yeah, I have given the name instance 1. Okay, now anyhow we have launched. You can see here the instance state is running. Okay, so in case if there is any error, it will you can see here observe status checks. It will show error message here. Okay, now everything, all the steps we have followed. Now it is initiating. Now select connect. Okay, select connect. Okay, now you retain what is default. Okay, a standalone RDP client. Okay, standalone client, select that option. So don't select session manager. Okay, so you select a standalone RDP client, then click on download remote desktop file, RDP file. Now you can observe it will download one RDP file. So it is here. Hello, can you see this? Hello, Saket?
Yes, sir, we can see.
Yeah. Okay, you can see that RDP file that is required. Now next thing is get password. Now see the name of the, see this will be the URL, public DNS. See, this will be just like, so now I am aiming to host my application. So the URL of my application will be EC2-13-233- so until Amazon AWS.com. So that is the URL. Okay, get password. Okay, to get the password. So the following key pair was associated with this instance. So the key pair is Venki AWS.pm. So that is a PEM file. Okay. Now select that file. So now in your case, what happens? You will be selecting create new key pair. Okay. So that will be stored somewhere. You will be giving some name to that and you'll be storing in your local machine. Now you will be selecting that file. Okay, Venki AWS.pem. Open. Okay, that was the key pair that I had saved. Now we need to decrypt. Okay, you can see how complex it is. Now decrypt password. So after decrypting, look at here, the password has become like this. Okay, you can see here, you can copy here. If you come to the end of this password, you can see here, copy to clipboard. Click on that, copy to clipboard. Now the password is copied to the clipboard. Now we need this password to log in remotely to the virtual machine. So now you click on this RDP file. So just now you had downloaded this remote desktop file. Click on the remote desktop file. Don't ask me again. Okay. Connect. So now it is launching the virtual machine, that is the container. Now Control V, that is just now you had copied the password. You paste it. So remember my credentials not required. Okay. Okay. Don't ask me again. Okay. Don't ask me again. Yes. So that is a certifications related error. Why? Because we don't have a secure network for my system. Okay, my system is not secure. So it was the security related warning. Just it was asking whether you want to continue. So I selected yes. Okay, now what was the OS that we had selected? Microsoft Windows Server 2019 base version of the 2019 operating system server edition. Okay, now so this is a so now virtual machine basically it's a container to host the guest operating systems. So now this is a Windows operating system. Okay, now everything is done actually. So now we have finished our work. Now do you want to allow your PC to be discoverable by other PCs and devices on this network? Yes. Okay, now so actually we are done with selecting the instance, launching the instance, allocating the resources, then doing the remote login. Now it is now the guest operating system is ready. Now you can host any application that you have. Okay, so now most of the times what happens, say for example, you have developed one project and you have uploaded it to GitHub. Okay, now here there is a Internet Explorer. You can go to Internet Explorer, then you can go to GitHub and you can download that file and you can launch it here. So now what I'll do, so I'll show you how to launch one simple application. I'll go to search here. Now I'll go to Windows. See here there is a server manager. Okay, remember you have to go to the server manager first because I am intended to deal with the IIS server. Okay, do not show this again. The first, so now I want to launch the IIS server. For that, I need to add the roles and features to that server. So the step one is add roles and features. Okay, so now my intention is I have to launch one simple website. So to launch that simple website, I need to configure the IIS server. Now I am configuring the IIS server. First, I'll add roles and features. Okay, before you begin, so there are some instructions that you can read. This wizard helps you to install roles, services or features. Okay, just you select next. Okay, See here, role-based or feature-based installation or remote desktop services installation. So if you select remote desktop services installation, so I told you that the URL, using that URL from anywhere you can see your application. If you do not select that remote desktop services installation, you can you can see your application only in the local machine. Okay, now I'll select roles based or feature based installation. Next. Okay, so server selection. So EC2 is a server and the IP address of the server. So 172.31. That is allocated by AWS. Operating system Microsoft Windows Server 2019 data center. Okay, so here you need to select the roles. Select one or more roles to install on the selected server. So I'll select file and storage services. So yes, that is obviously required. Then I need web server IIS. Okay, I selected web server IIS. Okay, now it is showing like this. So we have web server IIS management tools. Okay, include management tools. Yes, I need add features. Click on add features. Okay, now select next. Okay, don't do anything. So window, it requires .NET Framework 4.7 features. By default it has selected. You need not do anything. Yes, create. Okay, next. Just you click on next. It will install everything. Okay, install. You can see here what are all things it is configuring. So common HTTP features, default document, directory browsing, HTTP. So errors related information also it will provide. Okay. So it is installing. It will take 1 minute. It will take a little bit more time. Why? Because we have only one virtual CPU. In case if we had 3-4 virtual CPUs, by this time it would have finished installation. Okay, we'll wait. Still it is installing. Another 10 more seconds. Hello? Hello? Hello, Apurva? Tanuj?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, what is the difference that you observe? So when we install using VMware and when we are doing it with Amazon AWS, which is easier? Amazon AWS is easier. Why? Because someone has already built the infrastructure, just we are using it. Okay, using the some GUI, just we are accessing whatever we require. But in case of VMware, in virtualization, there actually what we did was we everything configured from the scratch. That means we installed everything. So we consider one physical server. Upon that, first we installed ESXi. Upon that, we created the virtual machine. Then upon that, once again, we installed the guest operating system. That means everything manually we did. But here, nothing is manual. Everything is automated. Just we are following the process steps. Okay. Now it is installed. Close. Okay. Now what we need to do is, uh, so go here. Go to search. So internet information. Okay, it is showing here internet information services. Select internet information services. Okay, go to search and you can select here their internet information services. So now we are in this screen. Okay, you got this step. Hello. This step is very important. After configuring the IIS server, you need to go to the search option. There you type internet information services and you select that service, and here is the window, internet information services. Now there is start page, EC2, and this is the server configured for us. Okay, now explore it. Okay, application pools, sites, explore the site. Okay, you have a default web page. Okay, see in the right side, just I'll make it full screen. In the right side you can see here manage website. Okay, browse. We'll see, actually see here, you need not worry about starting and stopping the web server, automatically it will take care. Now we'll see what is there in that default website. Okay, I'll click okay, from here only you can open browse website. Click on browse website, it will open in the Internet Explorer. Okay, it has opened the Internet Explorer. So this is the default page. So this is a default web page that they have deployed. Okay, that's a default web. Okay, web page that they have deployed. Okay, now I'll close this browser. Now I want to host my own website. Okay, now simple, I'll show you some hello message. Okay, click on advanced settings. Just below the browse website, there is a something called as advanced settings. Go there. Okay, select the physical path. Okay, you select this physical path, copy this. Okay, Control C, copy. Okay, close. Now go to run option. Go to run. Okay, select desktop application, run. Okay, under run, copy that path. Okay, copy that path and click OK. Okay, so that now it will show where this application is hosted. Hello, can you see this? Under advanced settings, I went and I saved the path. Okay, and I came to run option. Upon run option, I pasted that. Then it will open the address where the web page is stored. Now open this web page using Notepad. Open with Notepad. Okay, so now I want to redefine my website. So just for demonstration purpose, okay, so I'll delete all these things. Okay, so just I'll put one hello message. Okay, so control yes. Okay, I'm saving it. Okay, so file name is same. Just I am redefining the contents. So now my web page contains only hello. Actually, you know HTML, right? HTML, XHTML or HTML5. You write the complete HTML code. What is the content of your web page that you can define by using all the HTML, body tag, everything. Okay, now simply for demonstration purpose, I'll put only hello message. Okay, I'll save. So Control S. Okay, once again now I'll go back to this. No, yes, I'll go back to this IS Information Services portal. Then I'll select browse. Now it should display hello. Okay, you can see here it is displaying hello. Hello, everyone. Can you see this?
Yes, sir.
Saket? Yeah.
Yes.
See now we are launching our own application. Similarly, our college website will also be hosted in AWS or some cloud platform. Okay, see now we have successfully hosted our web application. Okay, now I'll close. So this is how we can host applications in cloud using suitable web server. Similarly, say for example, you have some GSP based application, you can select JBoss or Apache Tomcat. Like this, you can install and you can host your application. Okay, so while configuring, so you need to select for remote access. Here I didn't select for remote access. So in case of while configuring the IIS server. Okay, so now we are done with the demonstration of EC2, launching the EC2, then dealing with the operating system, and also so how to launch an application by using IIS web server. Now I'll close this. Okay, let me just minimize this, and let us just minimize this, and we'll let us go back to the AWS portal. Okay, so now we are in the AWS portal. Okay, you can see here the instance status. Name of the instance is instance1. This is the ID, name, and the status is running. Okay, status checks. There was 2 checks. Everything is passed. Okay. You can see here some log related information here. Just if you look at here, you'll get some information. So instance ID you'll get here, instance status, instance type, private DNS, private IP address, and name of the virtual private cloud ID. Okay, subnet ID, everything you'll get here, and name of the file that we use it to do remote login, that is Venki AWS key, that is a .pm file. So such information you will get. Okay, now I'll see. So one more application before deactivating this web server, we'll see one application, that is CloudWatch. Okay, CloudWatch. Okay. So in the history, I'll select. Actually, let us see where it is. See, actually, I had used it recently, so CloudWatch is here, but I want to show you where it is. CloudWatch. Just look at where it is. CloudWatch.
Sir, it's under management and governance, sir.
There are too many options, and we are not the
Management
frequent
and governance. It's under that.
management. Where it is? Yeah, CloudWatch. Here it is. Management and governance. CloudWatch. Okay, one small overview about CloudWatch. See, CloudWatch is one application where it will maintain all the log related information. Say, for example, you are using EWS, you are using 2-3 instances, EC2 instances, and you're working with some 2-3 operating systems like that. So then what it will do, it will take all the log information and it will maintain. And by using the dashboard, it will give you the information about, or it will give you the metrics. Okay, say for example, EC2. Okay, so there is no alarm, so that means status is okay. So like if you feel to run, say for example, so you are running some applications and there are some performance issues, okay, then it will raise the alarm here. Okay, it will raise the alarm here. So we are using 2 services. One is EC2, that is a container. To host the web services, we have used EC2, so that it is showing here, and we have used Elastic Block Store, that is to host the guest operating system. So that is the storage facility we need. So the storage service that we are using is Elastic Block Store. Okay. So then you can select here overview. Okay, for what duration you want to see the overview. Okay, by default it is showing 3 hours. I select for past 1 hour. Okay, it will show. And default dashboard. Okay, you can see here the default dashboard. It is showing the CPU utilization average. Okay. Say while configuring, there was some CPU utilization, then little bit Then while hosting the application, once again there was there. Now once again we closed everything and we came here. Now the utilization has decreased. Okay. Then status check failed some. So we never failed. So all the processes were successful. So then what else? Okay, it will show the consumption, memory consumption in elastic block storage. Look at you see here. Okay, how the utilization is varying. This is the time duration. In x-axis we have the time duration, and in the y-axis we have the utilization. Similarly here also. Okay, that means by using CloudWatch, you will get the statistics about your utilization. So now I'll go back to services EC2. Okay, so here running instances one, because we have created one. See, when we initially came, when we did login initially, the running instances were 0. Now we can see one. Click. So we should be very cautious. Now before we do log out, we should ensure that we will close this instance, otherwise it will charge some money for us, because even though we are running using free tier, but the IP that they have allocated, that is public IP. So at least for the for using that public IP address, it will charge some little bit amount of money for us. So in that sense, we need to go for the actions, instance state, stop, select stop, yes. So any data on the ephemeral storage of your instance will be lost. Okay. So now before doing this, let us go back to that. There is that window. Yes, remote window. I will close it here. I'll close the remote window. Okay, now I'll go to actions, instance state. Okay, I'll stop. Yes, stop. You can stop and terminate, or directly you can terminate. But the better process is first you need to stop it, then you need to terminate. Okay, now once again go to actions, select instance state and terminate. Yes, terminate. Here terminating is nothing but, the meaning of terminating in AWS is nothing but deleting that instance itself. So if you do not delete that instance, okay, that is not a good idea. Sometimes what we do, we'll forget to stop that instance and will not delete also. That means it will be up and running and it will cost a lot of money. So when you are, since you have linked your credit card to this AWS account, you should be very cautious before logging out. You make sure that, so whatever the experiment you do with the trail options. For whichever the resources there is a trail option, only you select those things, and before logging out you make sure that you will delete all the instances. So that means you have to terminate. So now I have terminated everything. Okay, now we can explore. Okay, so end user computing, anything, whatever you want, you can explore. Okay, you have, okay, at some point of time later on we'll see some of the other services if possible. Okay, you have, so like this, you have so many services that you can explore. So now we are running short of time, so I will do logout. Okay, that's all for today's session. Okay, any doubts? Shashank, Tanuj, any doubts? Hello?
No, sir.
Okay. Thank you. You have second hour class, right? You can go. Thank you.